Good afternoon, Grinders. This is your NFL SimLabs analysis for Thursday, November 20th. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD. BlenderHD, if you want to follow me on Twitter, hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. You know how much I like the thummy thumbs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. We got a pre-lock show live here on YouTube on our channel, 7:30 p.m. Eastern for all the expert analysis and the late breaking news, inactives, and we'll have to worry about that tonight, especially with I think Keon Coleman may end up being a healthy inactive again tonight. So definitely check out the show. Hit that notification bell to always know when we go live, because we got Thursday night football, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, with the Bills at the Texans. Not the highest of totals, but 43.5. The Bills are a 5.5-point favorite on the road with a 24.5-point implied team total. Texans 19-point implied team total. Obviously, top projected player on the entire slate is Josh Allen, but he's also the most expensive, 12.4K. We have him almost 5 points clear in mean projection from James Cook, who's also expensive, 11.4K at running back. Nico Collins, 11.2K. Then we also have Davis Mills, 9,600. Woody Marks, 9,200. Khalil Shakir, 8,000. And then we drop off from there with some like Dalton Schultz, the kickers, the defenses. This is a pretty good showdown slate when it comes to just the amount of options we have in like the cheaper end of the spectrum, because both these teams, I mean, yes, it's true. Nico Collins is like the number one guy on the Texans, but like a lot of these guys can score touchdowns, right? And a lot of times when it comes into these lower scoring slates and cheaper price players, like if you could get like 8 to 10 points out of someone that's under 5K, that's pretty damn good. And it's not like many of these guys have that much volume. But like even on the Houston side, yeah, sure, Collins could score a bunch, right? Even Schultz at 6,400. He could go 5 for 60 with a touchdown. But then we got Jaden Higgins at 4,600. We got Hutchinson. We got Christian Kirk, right? Those are around 3K, right? Jalen Noel at 1,600. Cade Stover catching, 2 tight end sets, something like that. Like, you get a touchdown out of one of these guys. I mean, they might only get 1 or 2 targets. And the same thing on the Bills. Although a lot of the offense fantasy production is going to be concentrated towards Josh Allen as well as James Cook. I mean, Khalil Shakir at 8K seems maybe a little overpriced at 8K, because they do spread the ball around. And you got Josh Palmer at 4,200, Dawson Knox at 4K, Gabe Davis at 3,800, assuming he's active. Right, Ty Johnson catches balls out of the backfield. Remember, Dalton Kincaid is injured, so that's why Dawson Knox, at 4K does project for a decent amount. But we also got, like Tyrell Shavers caught a long touchdown last game. Jackson Hawes in a double tight end set, he's caught a touchdown before. Ray Davis could score a touchdown. There's a lot of people that can score touchdowns on the slate, and there's no like clear option. Like a lot of these guys from 4K down project for about the same, somewhere between 2 and 4 from a median. But remember, we're playing Showdown not for medians, we're playing for ceiling outcomes, and that's why I got SimLabs up. And you can see here, and based on our Showdown HQ, that Josh Allen is going to be by far the most owned captain on the slate. Our optimal lineup as of right now, this is with Keon Coleman in, because as of right now, we do have Keon Coleman in. Once he gets ruled out, or at least news that he's going to be ruled out definitively, or, an hour and a half before the game when the inactives come out and he's on the list, we'll update our projections as well as our sims. And we do update this as well as whenever news breaks. So typically you want to use SimLabs a little bit closer to lock, assuming, news changes. But our optimal does have Josh Allen, the captain, but like a lot of like kickers, Mills, Cook, Prater, Kirk, and Terrell Shavers at 2,400 is in our mean optimal. But I mean, you could play basically anyone on the cheap end of the spectrum. But let me go into SimLabs and run 150 lineups. Because even though Josh Allen will be the most owned captain, he's also the most over-owned captain. According to our Showdown HQ tool, which if you're a RotoGrinders member, you would get access to. We have Josh Allen as fairly significantly overowned in the captain. But we also have a roster construction breakdown based on our 10,000 plus sims. Like it's the constructions are very heavily leaned as far as the plus EV lineups are concerned, lean towards a lot of bills in your lineup. A lot of it leans very heavily towards like 4 favorites, 2 dogs, right? Actually, it's more likely 30% of our top simulated lineups that win are 4 2s, and then 28% are 3 3s. A lot of times you'll see 3 3s as like the highest, but I mean, it spreads out from there. But even 5 1s at almost 20%. So 5 Bills, 1 Texan, 19.52%. 1 5s are like 5%. So it's very heavily skewed towards there. But it's a matter of finding the right lineups to play. What are the constructions that do work? So playing large field contests, as we always do in Showdown. And I'm just going to run 150 and see what shows up as of now. And then we'll use some player filters just to get a little bit more granular. Because remember, SimLabs is not necessarily, you don't have to use it to build 150 lineups. You don't have to use it to use 50 lineups. You can use it as a research tool, even if you're building 1 to 3 lineups, which is exactly what I do, right? And a lot of times I plan to play 1 lineup. I end up playing 4 lineups because it's like, I want to play this, but I also want to play that. And typically in the mid-stakes types of contests. But I do throw them into large field because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So let's run 150 and see what the exposures are. I'm assuming even though Josh Allen is overowned in the captain, I still think there's going to be absolutely a ton of Josh Allen captain lineups that sim well, right? Because even here, like the second best lineup, right here, the second highest SimLab rating lineup is a Josh Allen captain lineup that leaves a K on the table. And it's Allen, Mills, Shakir, Prater, Buffalo defense, DST, and Christian Kirk, which, I mean, based on the projected ownerships, you have to worry a bit about duplication. This lineup could be duplicated like 50 times or something, right? Based on the product ownership, because, a 35% owned captain is yeah. I think I'm much more likely. I look on Showdown HQ, the under-owned captains are like, or Shakir, Woody, like basically Woody Marks and Davis Mills, like Texans captain lineups. And you could see a situation where that could be true, where the Texans do fairly well. And the way that the ball is spread out, that, Allen could still score 30 points, 30 fantasy points. But if like Woody Marks has 2 touchdowns and, 100 yards rushing, right? Because the Bills aren't the greatest, typically they funnel people towards the run. If Woody Marks has 26 fantasy points at his price, he's much more likely to be the optimal captain than a Josh Allen, even if Josh Allen is the highest scoring player on the slate, because Josh Allen is 12K, right? I think non-Josh Allen lineups are much more likely to have James Cook in it, but we'll see. We'll take a look here. Let's take a look at the exposures out of these 150. You can see in the flex, not just overall, you're still playing a metric crap ton of Josh Allen. Just like if you don't play Josh Allen in your lineup, your mean projection is going to go down. I'm assuming your in the money rate is going to go down, but we're going to take a look at some non-Josh Allen lineups and see what they look like and how they rate out. But in the captain spot, right, a lot of Nico Collins. You can see here, like even though we have Josh Allen as heavily owned in the captain spot, in this 150 run, it's based on the Sims. He's coming in on only 15% of lineups. A lot more Nico Collins captain. Shakir captain, Cook captain, not as much Mills captain, not as much like Woody Marks captain, but you can see here like how it spreads out. So you go here, like here's some Josh Allen. Like this is what I would use the tool for. It's like, okay, I want to play a Josh Allen captain lineup. What do they look like? Right, so I could go in here and let's say I want to run 150. Just like who shows up the most in Josh Allen captain lineups and who shows up the least. So I could go in here, I could lock in Josh Allen into the captain spot and then run 150 lineups and say I could exclude, I could boost and dock players, I could do all that type of stuff. But let's say I'm going to run 150 only Josh Allen captain lineups. I'm not necessarily going to look at the first one, the second one, or whatever, the top ones over here. But let's, in general, who shows up more often in these lineups? Right, Josh Allen and the captain. Obviously, a lot of Davis Mills, right? A lot of Shakir. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of Bills because they correlate with Josh Allen, the captain spot. But who don't, like Gabe Davis doesn't show up that much. Ray Davis doesn't show up that much. Obviously, Keon Coleman, if he plays, doesn't show up that much, right? You don't get that much Houston defense. You don't get that much like Woody Marks in these types of lineups as much as you would think. And also, you don't get as much James Cook, only 26% in here. A lot more like Tyrell Shavers in these lineups. A lot, obviously, Khalil Shakir. But even like Dawson Knox, Jackson Hawes, I mean, not absurdly so, the tight ends. So you can look at here, these are Josh Allen captain lineups. And I would kind of look for lineups. I mean, I ran 150. A lot of times I just run 20. I would try to find a Josh Allen captain lineup that leaves more money on the table. Like this 1,000 remaining, this isn't that bad, right? I kind of don't want to play the lineups like here's one that leaves only 200 on the table. Right, Allen, Mills, Shakir, Schultz, Buffalo, DST, and Shavers. And based on this product ownership, I mean, it's just going to be duped so much. And it's much more likely, even though this top lineup leaves 1,000 remaining, and it projects and sims better, this actually may be lower duplicated, only for the fact that people just default to spending as much money as they can in their lineup. So leaving 1,000 on the table on a similar lineup as leaving 200 on the table, I'm easily going to pick the one that leaves 1,000 on the table. Here's one that leaves 2,000 on the table. Here's a 5-1. Allen, Shakir, Palmer, Shavers, Matt Prater, Davis Mills. Done. Easy. This all makes sense, right? You got the quarterback, you got three pass catchers, you got the kicker, and you got the quarterback of the other team, who may be the highest scoring player on their team, regardless of what happens. So even if the Texans don't put up any points. Right? These are the lineups because, I mean, take a look at like who you're competing with. And like Matt, you're playing Matt Prater instead of Dalton Schultz. Or you're playing Khalil Shakir instead of Nico Collins. I don't even think you could get up to that. Right? You're playing Shavers instead of all the guys in between 2,400 and 4,400 that are more likely to be rostered than leaving 2K on the table. And it sims. Look, it's not like you have to scroll all the way down and find lineups that leave 3,000 on the table that don't sim as well. Like this is like the fourth highest lineup, right? It's the fourth highest lineup in SimLabs rating with Josh Allen in the captain spot, and it's still 95. I mean, it's still a Josh Allen. It's a highly owned Josh Allen captain, and it still rates extremely well, and leaves 2,000 on the table. Like this is a recipe. This could easily be a lineup that I play today, easily. One of my 2 lineups or 3 lineups, or 1 lineup or whatever. And you can also save all this stuff in SimLabs. If you're using it on desktop, even if you're using it on your iOS device. Simply, that's when I use it. I listen to the pre-lock show about 20 minutes before lock. Go on SimLabs, do just a little bit of this stuff. What do I want to play here? What do I want to play there? This look good. This look good. I do it on my phone. I type it in. Just normal hand building, right? Even though in SimLabs you could download and CSV upload and do all that type of stuff. But if you're a hand builder, you're only playing 1, 2, 3 lineups. I just do it on my phone. I just put it in manually. So these are Josh Allen captain lineups. Let's say we want to play a non-Josh Allen captain lineup. Right? Let's say we want to fade Josh Allen completely. Just absolutely completely. Now, is that a good idea? Now, from a median projection standpoint, probably not. But there's going to be some lineups that are plus EV that don't have Josh Allen in it at all. At all. There are going to be less of them, but there's going to be some of them. So I'm going to put in 20, fading Josh Allen completely. What do those lineups look like? So I'm going to guess. It's going to be Nico Collins captain, or going to be James Cook captain. Something like that. Probably not Shakir. Because this doesn't even have Josh Allen, not only not in the captain, but not even in the flex. So I'm assuming these are Collins, Marks, Cook captain lineups. Right, here's obviously their SimLabs rating is going to be lower because you see the projection is red here. Projection goes down. Right, these are all like lower projected lineups. Here's one with 300 remaining. Cook in the captain with Prater, Palmer, and Shavers, and Collins and Mills. This makes sense. Here's Cook, Buffalo DST, Palmer, Shavers, Mills, Collins, very similar type lineup. 700 remaining. Here's Cook, Shavers with Collins, Mills, Fairbairn, and Jaden Higgins. But you can see here just from the projection, like this projection, the red bar, and the ITM starts going down. It's not as green. It's much more lighter green. So these are lineups these are high leverage lineups, very high leverage lineups. These are lineups that you're most likely either going to do really well or really badly, right? But they do exist. But if you take a look at the SimLabs rating for these, they're 80, 79, 78, 75, 74, 70, right? By the time we get to the bottom, we start getting 48. Like there are many of these lineups. You got 10, 12 lineups that you could choose from that are non-Josh Allen completely. But if you wanted to play one of them, these would be the ones to choose from. Instead of going in and going, okay, I'm going to play Woody Marks in the captain. I'm going to play this in the flex. I'm not going to play either quarterback and whatever. And that would like simulate out to be like garbage. It's like to you, it makes sense. And, maybe the projection is not halfway bad. But according to our simulations, that would be a negative EV lineup. And that's what you use SimLabs for, is to find those plus EV lineups. In the 4 major sports, we offer that as part of the SimLabs Plus package here on RotoGrinders. The cheapest one. You get full access to SimLabs for NFL, for all the slates, right? Not just Showdown, for the main slate, for the FanDuel, for afternoon slate, for the Sunday night football slate, all the football slates. NBA, right? You get that NBA. It's going on. You get SimLabs for NBA, MLB, which when it comes back, obviously, PGA. That's every week, pretty much. Then you get access to our research tools like Gridiron IQ for NFL, Court IQ for NBA, Plate IQ for baseball, right? All that type of stuff, as well as our premium written content like the expert surveys, the CVRs, the write-ups and everything, all in one small little cheap package. SimLabs Plus, $39.99 a month, or get the Combo Pro and you get everything, right? You get soccer and college football and NCAA, the basketball and NHL, and you get lineup HQ. You get to use all, you want to build 7 million lineups. You could do all of that in the Combo Pro package, but I would suggest SimLabs Plus. SimLabs is, I give into the AI overlords. I build most of my lineups these days using SimLabs, doing my little research. Takes 5 minutes on my phone with the dedicated SimLabs app. And so click on the link in the description to get more information about that. But it's free. Hitting that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those thummy thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. And hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. 7:30 p.m. Eastern is our pre-lock show. Let's see if Keon Coleman is in today. Maybe there'll be some surprise inactives. Who knows? That's why we have to check out the pre-lock show. And I'll see you. I'll see you next time for some more NFL SimLabs analysis here on RotoGrinders.com.